MTN SME Hub. Link to growth. Link to success. Link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome back to the Big Small Business Show. In studio with us today, we've got Mohammed Ghoor. He's the founder and CEO of Meatcart, and we are discussing today whether to set up depots or to export meat and halal meat specifically into the Middle East and Africa. Just let's talk about a depot. If you had to set up a depot in Cape Town or Durban, what would that entail from a time, people, cost? Have you worked that out yet?
So I haven't gone into the actual cost of it, but from a high level, it will just be essentially storage facilities. So cold rooms and freezer rooms and a small workspace with a delivery vehicle, a driver and an administration person.
So 2 staff?
Yeah.
2 staff.
And if we do grow it to a certain point where, where it's getting to a Johannesburg level, then we can look at saying, what can be processed in-house and what are we still getting from Johannesburg. Because what I found is in the wholesale, especially in the wholesale industry, when we're looking more in the wholesale space, is that they generally buy the same products over and over again.
Yeah.
So you can almost prepare it in advance and you know exactly what they're going to be taking.
I want to jump to the export market. You spoke about the fact that the abattoirs might, muscle you out and go direct.
Yeah.
So what's the value then of a butcher relative to an abattoir? Are you packing? Are you cutting? Are they just providing carcasses and you providing cuts? What is the difference?
So you will be essentially selling the same product, but what it boils down to is that your connections, right? Whether you can get into a certain area or not. Like for example, we already export to Mauritius, but we go via another butcher in Cape Town that does our exports for us. The same with when it comes to Zimbabwe and Zambia. We're exporting already, but it's going via a third party,
Yeah.
So it's more to get control of our exports and let us send it out directly.
You look like a healthy guy, but let's say one day or 1 week you were sick. What happens in terms of at the butchery? Well, how does the butchery run when you're not there?
So at the moment, how I set it up is to build it where it can sustain itself without me present. And the only task that I really do at the office is I pay suppliers and I purchase goods. But now what I'm moving away from is I've added my manager onto the ordering groups directly with the abattoirs, so that there's no sort of we're not missing any loops when it comes to that process. And the payment structure, I think that I can easily hand it over as well once we set up a proper an enterprise business bank account, So,
and I want to keep moving you between the export and the depots now.
Yeah.
So let's go to the depot now. Give me if you were now motivating, let's say you needed funding to set up these depots, and I was the bank manager.
Yeah.
Give me a motivation as to why going the depot route is important.
I'll target Cape Town because that's specifically where we're looking at the moment, and just based on Cape Town's influence over the world, where people have voted it one of the best cities. People are coming for the food, they're coming for the views, they're coming for how cheap our country is, and the restaurant industry is booming there. So I think for us to get in there already with our experience in the restaurant industry already, it will be an easy sort of process. So actually, it won't be 2 people; it will be 3 people because the third person will need to be the salesperson.
Okay.
To bring the sales in.
Okay. The controls you spoke about when you were hypothetically sick, and that it seems to be that it runs without you. But what controls are in place in terms of stock take, cameras, theft, prevention, etc.?
So we got camera systems throughout our facility. We do stock counts every second week.
Yeah.
To try and mitigate that. Even when staff are leaving, staff are searched. Because the way the butcher is set up, staff have separate entrances and exits to make all of these processes, run efficiently. And I think our bi-weekly stock count also eliminates the issues of theft as well. And if there is an issue, you can pick it up quite quickly.
Okay.
So I come from accounting background, auditing background.
Oh,
so
you do? Okay.
We've put that in place already, from the get-go, just to give me time not to be there.
And in terms of shifts, you're running one shift?
Yeah, so we run one shift. We work Monday to Friday. I call ourselves a corporate butcher.
Yes.
because your staff also need that time off, you know. Long weekends, public holidays, we close as well. But we just communicate to our clients in advance and remind them almost sometimes daily that you're not going to be open up for those long weekends, because your staff need that break. Even like Christmas time, we close for the 2 weeks to make sure that our staff get the break, they get the time to see their families. So when they come back, they're energized and they're ready to work.
So when you moved from the last premises to this premises, why did you move instead of going for a second shift?
It was just more, our size was just too small. So we were operating out of 150 squares.
Yeah.
We're now operating out of 400 squares. Before we had a cold room and a freezer room that were 20 square meters each. Now the combined cold room, freezer room space is 60 squares each. So we couldn't jump onto the benefits of pricing and volume discounts in that small space for ours. That's why we decided to move and get a bigger space.
So do you understand, being an accountant, your average capacity, what your capacity to produce is per day in terms of either rand value or kilograms?
I wouldn't say exactly what I know exactly what the capacity is, but I'll give you an example. Is that when we picked up one of our new clients, one of these canteens that have six depots, we actually went and purchased machinery to improve our efficiency and to improve our output. So we are aware of our limitations, and with our as we go along, getting new machinery, getting the automation in place to make sure that we can keep up with our demand within our time constraints.
Okay, last question from me is around your stock, right? How many, or maybe not like, how many clients do you have plus minus 10, 20, 50, 100?
I would say including retail, over 100 clients.
Yeah.
Retail alone is about 150 clients that order on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And I would say our wholesale clients are probably looking at about 40 to 60 clients.
Okay, so do you keep stock of any items? Or
so we hold stock.
Yeah.
Especially in our freezers.
Okay.
So like your beef is held fresh in your cold rooms, and your lamb and your chicken we keep frozen in our freezers. But we get stock in weekly, because you're also trying to balance your cash flow.
Yeah.
So we get in stock weekly, especially on our beef, because the abattoirs will deliver for you daily. So you don't need to hold too much stock. The only time we actually buy extra stock is for price, or if we're expecting a price increase during your busy times.
But that's input. I'm talking about ready-made stock. My understanding, and just correct me, we've got less than a minute, is that you'll get a carcass, then you'll cut it into a cut.
Yeah.
Like a chop or a T-bone or whatever the case may be. And that's what you're on-selling, or are you on-selling the full carcass?
So we do both. So where we sell the carcasses or more boxes. We don't do so much carcasses.
Yeah.
And the processed stuff. But the processed stuff we'll make weekly. So we don't keep too much stock, because obviously you don't want to give your clients very old frozen stock.
Yeah.
So every week we're making stock, and based on what we expect the next week to look like.
Okay, Mohammed, I think I've got enough. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, I've got some suggestions and things to think about for Mohammed. Stay tuned.
MTN SME Hub, link to business success.